It's Buzzwordathon. But I can't actually talk to you right now because I have to get ready and do today. So I'll talk to you later. Oh my gosh. This vlog is already starting out real rough. It is much later than that clip that I filmed this morning from my bed. I've worked a full day, and two, I am dumb, and it's right now currently day 2 of Buzzwordathon. I realized yesterday, like later in the afternoon, that it was day 1 of the readathon, so I was able to get reading in yesterday. Yesterday was the unofficial start. Today I am officially starting on my reading and my vlogging for the Buzzword Readathon, hosted by Kayla from Books and Lala and Paola from Paolo Guerrero. I'm so excited to be participating in this. I guess I wanted to chat through my TBR quickly. I was gonna film like a full-on Buzzwordathon TBR video, but then my life went off the rails, which I'll explain later, maybe, but maybe not. The whole point of the readathon is any book, any genre, any format, as long as there is the word night in the title. So this is my first one, Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. If you watched my September TBR, you know that this book serves multiple purposes. 1, this readathon. 2, it's on that scratch off poster that I'm using to kind of get through my backlist, which maybe I'll put a clip in, or you know, I'll just go get it. It's a vlog, I can just go get it. Here it is, the scratch off poster. I'm picking one each month from this poster to read, to sort of work through my backlist, and then I get to scratch it off at the end and put my little sticker star rating. And the third reason why I'm reading this book in particular is because I'm a part of this book club, and in the month of September, our prompt is to read a banned book. I'm about halfway through it, and I'll tell you my thoughts and feelings later. The second book on my Buzzwordathon night TBR is The Night Diary by Veera Hiranandani. Don't know a whole lot about this book. It's middle grade, and I think it's historical and takes place in India. The third, I don't want to say final book of my TBR. This is the final book on my official TBR. The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. I meant to look up pronunciation, but I haven't yet. I promise I will by the end of this video. This is a historical fiction. It's also indigenous owned voices. I am forever on the hunt for historical fiction that I actually like. The author based the story on the life of her grandfather, who was a part of the Chippewa tribe in North Dakota, I think. Unofficially, if I get to it, I did download the Night Tiger audiobook and ebook. I'm gonna see what my reading rate is like, and if I can be listening to the audiobook, then great. If not, then I'm not gonna stress myself out about it. It's like a bonus. If I get to it, I'll be so happy. I just realized that I cut myself off without telling you what I was gonna tell you, which is that my life in the past couple of days has taken a turn a bit. I am currently in the middle of a 2-week quarantine because I was in close contact with someone who tested positive for COVID. I am perfectly healthy and feel fine. But what does this mean for this vlog? It means that you're going to be seeing a whole lot of this space right here and not much else. It's not like I was going a whole bunch of places before I got put on quarantine, but now I am legally obligated to stay right here. So this is what you'll be seeing a lot of. Hope that's okay with you. Hopefully, since I'm confined to this space, it will motivate me to read and to finish my TBR, which is, these 3 books are slightly ambitious for me. I feel like because it is a readathon, and I'm super excited about it, and I'm confined to my apartment. Perhaps this can all get accomplished. I'm going to get to reading this. I forget if I told you already or not. I'm about halfway through. I got this much read yesterday, and I'm gonna see if I can finish this tonight, and then I'll tell you my thoughts. I have thoughts now, but I don't really want to tell you about them. I'll tell you about them later, okay? Okay. This is what I'm eating for dinner. This is a salmon burger, unwich style. I have some avocado on there. These are like root fries, and this is ketchup and samurai sauce, and that green stuff is hot sauce. Hot sauce? Hot sauce. Yay. Good morning, Buzzwordathon. It is day 3 of the readathon, and I have not finished a book. I don't know who I thought I was in that clip I filmed last night where I was like, yeah, I read like half of it yesterday, so I could easily finish it tonight. The goal today is to finish that book, and then I'm gonna move on from that book to the night diary, and then I'd have my weekend to read The Night Watchman. I know I told you that I am currently in the middle of a 2-week quarantine. That means I am teaching remotely. Before I started teaching remotely because of this quarantine, my school was using a hybrid model. Half of the kids were in the classroom with me in front of me, and then the other half of the kids were on Zoom in their own homes. It's actually been a fairly, knock on wood, easy adjustment because just all the kids, now that I'm teaching remotely for the next 2 weeks, just all the kids get on Zoom. I don't know if I did that great of a job at explaining that, but basically now, instead of teaching like half the class on Zoom, I'm teaching the whole class on Zoom. It's just that I'm not in the class. All right, I'm being a better vlog person today, and I'll show you my outfit. Here it is. I am still getting ready as though I were going to school, even though I am working from home, just because this quarantine has an end date and I don't want to fall into bad habits. Not shoes though, because I'm not a monster. I'm not gonna wear shoes in my own house. If for whatever reason you were ever looking for a sign or indicator that I was done with a day, this hairstyle is a pretty clear indicator. I'm done with trying to film this clip and there being incessant drilling outside at 6 p.m. I'm done with my day of teaching, and I'm also done with this book. I wanted to tell you about some of the thoughts I was having while I was reading it, but it was one of those ones that was just, I was reading it so quickly, I just wanted to get to the end, and then I wanted to make sure that I was saying what I wanted to say in a way that made sense and I was saying it correctly. This story, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, is about a teenage boy named Christopher who lives in London with his father, and at the beginning of the book, Christopher finds his neighbor's dog like murdered in his neighbor's front yard. So he then decides to solve the mystery of who murdered his neighbor's dog. In the synopsis, it says that Christopher has Asperger's syndrome. And I guess when I started reading this, I didn't know that it was going to be written from Christopher's perspective. I didn't know that we'd be getting his first person thoughts. As I was reading it, there was just some things that came up that made me wonder. It made me wonder what kind of relationship the author had to those with Asperger's syndrome, and kind of where he got his inspiration, why he chose to write this character. So I did minimal Googling, and from that minimal Googling, I found a blog post by the author that he wrote of his own volition. And, in that post, he very proudly admitted that he did little to no research on Asperger's syndrome. He basically said that he felt like he shouldn't be held accountable. Someone who says that they shouldn't feel that they shouldn't be held accountable or questioned on writing from the mind of someone with Asperger's syndrome, but they're perfectly okay with profiting off of that perspective that they wrote. That combined with the fact that I just didn't like the story. There was nothing that I really enjoyed about my reading experience with this, is putting this at 2 stars. But now, I mean, I get to scratch it off my scratch off poster, and I get to give it a certified 2 stars on a sticker. And what's most exciting is that I get to move on to The Night Diary by Vera Hiranandani, and I don't have to give this author or this book any thought ever again. I can just move on. Here's dinner tonight. Salmon, asparagus, and a much larger than expected vegetable medley. There's like zucchini and onion and bell pepper and tomato in there. Yay, yum. Good evening. My hair is slowly devolving along with my will to keep my eyes open. Ironically, with the buzzword being night, I do not get a whole lot of reading done at nighttime. My brain goes down with the sun. I am just over 50 pages into The Night Diary, and I'm stupid. This has the word night in it. It also has the word diary in it, and it is written in diary entries. The main character, Nisha, is writing diary entries to her mother. So it's told in that like epistolary, I think is the word, epistolary format, which I don't always love in books, but I think that it works well in middle grade. And then I also was able to listen to about an hour of The Night Tiger. Right? That's what it's called. The Night Tiger? My brain is not. The Night Tiger. That sounds wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. And I did not know this, but it's actually narrated by the author, and I love when that happens. So far for Buzzwordathon, I have 1 book completed. I have 2 books in progress. My plan is to finish this one by end of day tomorrow, / possibly get started on The Night Watchman. As far as the audiobook of The Night Tiger goes, the goal is to finish it by the end of the readathon. That's my update. My brain is slowly breaking down, and you can tell because the cadence of my speech is slowing way down. I need to go to bed. I will see you tomorrow for day 4. Hello and good morning, Buzzwordathon, day 4. Oh my gosh, day 4? Let's show you my outfit, day 4. Here we go. Still getting fully dressed, sans shoes. Today is Thursday, so it is like my almost weekend because the school week is Sunday through Thursday here. So gotta get through today, then we'll start the weekend, get a real good weekend reading thing going. This is where I work from home if you're interested. Want to see me turn it into my work from home space? Wow, look at that. Are you interested in what remote teaching looks like? Here you go. Hello. Hi. If you want to start filling in your planner for today, the Google slide is posted. Oh, okay. Life update, not a reading update, because I haven't read anything since, well, I guess I read like 10 pages of the night diary when my kids were doing their independent reading. So that's my reading update. My life update is that I am officially not on my weekend, but I am done teaching for the day. I taught 3 blocks in a row, and then my like homeroom or advisory period, and I am exhausted. If my haggard appearance didn't let you in on that bit of information. I'm on my 2nd latte for the day and considering making a 3rd. So maybe enjoy this montage. Cheers, let's do this. We should all know what this hairstyle means. I'm officially on my weekend. Today, I was reflecting. Today, despite it being exhausting, was a really good day teaching-wise. I had a student finish Other Words for Home by Jasmine Warga, which is one of my favorite books of the year, and I recommended it to her, and she loved it, and she told the rest of the class about it, and now there's a whole bunch of kids that want to read it. A lot of the things that I love about teaching have been taken away, but recommending books to students is one of the things I loved. So to have a student love a book that I recommended to them just felt like a win. Game plan for the rest of this evening. I want to work out. Maybe I'll clean a tiny bit and then listen to more of the Night Tiger audiobook. And then 3rd and final thing, which is the priority, is finishing the night diary. Hello, it's later. I have worked out. I have read more of the night diary. I'm about halfway through now, and I want to tell you about it. But before I did, it's time for me to order dinner. Thursday nights are my like delivery nights because it's the beginning to my weekend and I don't want to cook. And I thought that it may be fun to try having Buzzwordathon pick what I have for dinner. I'm just going to type the word night into my like delivery app and see what it returns. This may completely fail, and if it does, I'll just order sushi and I'll still be happy. Ooh, okay. There's like I should have known that this is what it would do. There's like a late night meal. I could get chocolate covered strawberries, and they're called the Dark Night. Should I do it? I'm gonna hold off on ordering them right now, but maybe tomorrow that'll be my like treat, is ordering the Dark Night strawberries in honor of Buzzwordathon. So now I'm gonna update you on my progress in the night diary. And the time and history that this takes place in, this is what I didn't know, is the partitioning of India. So the main character and her family are Hindu, and at the time of the partitioning, they are in what is now Pakistan. So they are forced to flee their home. It's reading pretty quickly because 1, it's middle grade, and then 2, it's written in those diary entry formats. Middle grade just never fails to have those like singular lines that bring immediate tears to my eyes. I don't know why I keep setting these like unrealistic reading expectations for myself. I feel like I've been reading and reading and reading, and I'm still only halfway through, and I'm tired. New plan, read a little bit more in this, finish this tomorrow morning, and then start on the Night Watchman tomorrow. Read this whole thing this weekend. We'll see. It maybe is an unrealistic goal, but perhaps we'll have some chocolate strawberries to fuel us. Good morning, Buzzwordathon. Just kidding. It is not morning, not even close. We are well into the evening on Buzzwordathon day 5. Day 5. This has been a very bookish, booktube related day. I started editing this vlog. I filmed another video that I don't know will ever see the light of day, but I did film it. Was able to watch a bunch of booktube videos that I have been meaning to get to but just haven't had the time. Paula, actually one of the co-hosts of this readathon, posted this amazing like cook with me vlog where she reviewed Miss Meteor while making dishes that actually appear in the story. It was so much fun to watch. And then Kayla, in her most recent book haul, included Miss Meteor, and after hearing both of them talk about it, it just sounds like something that I really want to read. And then most importantly, I read. I was able to finish The Night Diary by Vera Haranandani, and I was also able to start The Night Watchman, and I want to tell you my thoughts on both. But before we do that, remember last night where I had Buzzwordathon influence my delivery decisions? Well, I did it. Here they are. These are the Dark Night strawberries from Choco Berry. All right, cheers, Buzzwordathon. That's it. Now that we've done that super fun endeavor, let me tell you about book. The Night Diary. I finished this one up early-ish this morning. I felt all the emotions while reading this. It's such a good middle grade. I can't wait to recommend it to my students. One thing that I found myself wanting from this was to know what was going on in the minds of the other characters, particularly the main character's twin brother, and then their father. There was a very interesting dynamic and relationship between her and her brother and their father. I don't know how the author could have accomplished that without breaking the epistolary style format. Overall, I think I'm giving this a 4 out of 5 stars. And then after that, I was able to get started on The Night Watchman. I'm only 50 pages into this one, and I don't want to speak too soon, but already this is doing several things that I love. So far, it seems like there are 2 primary characters, and at the beginning it's kind of switching back and forth, but you just don't know how their storylines are going to intersect, and I'm really interested to see like how the 2 characters ultimately come together. It's doing this thing that I'm learning that I really, really love in books, where the setting itself is smaller. However, within this smaller setting, we're getting to meet several different characters. What I love about that is when there's the omniscient narration, where you get to see into the minds of every single character, no matter how small or insignificant. I ended up just searching my library's Overdrive app just to see if there was an audiobook that existed for this, and not only is there an audiobook that exists for it, but it was available. So I checked it out. I'm going to move the Night Tiger off of this readathon's TBR. I'm not DNFing it because the hour or so that I got into the audiobook reading, I really, really enjoyed it. I do want to make this one a priority because it has been on my like TBR for a while. And I think it may be too much to be switching back and forth between the physical copy of this and the audiobook copy, and then also listening to another audiobook. Dinner tonight is perhaps not as aesthetically pleasing as my others. I used leftover like taco meat. There's sauteed bell pepper and zucchini and onion in there, and then dumped a bunch of hot sauce on it. Yum. Good morning, Buzzwordathon, day 6, second to last day. Oh my gosh, it is quite early on this Saturday morning, and I have not a lot of plans except to read. I feel like the readathon ending on a Sunday it makes sense, right? Because it's like you end with a weekend, the last day is the last day of your weekend, but my last day of my weekend is today. I historically do not get a lot of reading done on Sundays. So I gotta sink a lot of time today into this. Here's my outfit of the day. Just kidding, it's my robe. All right, I'm getting weird. It is afternoon time now. I have done laundry. I got Starbucks delivered because I deserve it. Pretty much all day I have been reading The Night Watchman. At this point I am like just barely over halfway through. We might as well just call it halfway through. Even though I am fully confident in saying that I'm really enjoying it, I still don't exactly know how to describe to you what this book is about. But I figured I'm halfway through and I owe you all an explanation, at least what I do know that's going on. So last night I think I described how there are pretty much 2 characters of focus. One of those characters is named Thomas, who I think is the character that is based off of the author's grandfather. Basically there is this bill that has been introduced by Congress that is trying to emancipate, I'm going to use the language of the bill, emancipate American Indians from their land. Thomas is essentially doing everything in his power to try to stop that bill from being passed. The other character storyline that we're following also lives on the Turtle Mountain Reservation. Her name is Patrice. Her older sister moved off the reservation and into the city. The family hasn't heard from her since, so her sister is missing and Patrice is kind of on this mission to find where her sister is. Those are the 2 like primary storylines, but there's so much else that's going on that I love. Been really interesting things about like religion and faith and what you believe. There's a lot of talk of boxing in here. One of the characters that you're following is a teacher at the school who's also a boxing coach. You get to see like some in-ring, I don't know how to describe it, boxing scenes. They're just really well written. Gonna get this read, gonna keep switching back and forth between the physical copy and the audiobook. I am running the risk of exposing myself that I eat pretty much the same variation of dinner every single night. This is a cheeseburger unwich style, and then more of those root fries, and then some seasoned baked asparagus. Does anyone else remember that song? It's not good, but I have zero taste in music. I have worked out, I have made and eaten dinner, which I think you saw. I have read more of The Night Watchman, ending up with about like 140 pages to read tomorrow, and I could just push through, but I'm exhausted. I will finish it up tomorrow for day 7, the last day. Good morning, Buzzwordathon, day 7. It's the final day of the readathon. I slept in a tiny bit this morning just because I had a little bit of trouble going to sleep last night. And listen, if I'm required to work from home, I may as well take advantage of things. And speaking of taking advantage of being able to work from home, I have this little like affirmation tarot deck, and I haven't done it in quite a while just because the beginning of school has been so hectic, but I have the time now, so let's pull an affirmation together. So I pulled a bonus card. Sometimes they'll have like little illustrations on them like this one, but this one is a bonus card and it's for manifestation. If you could have anything you wanted, what would it be? Get specific and get greedy. You are holding a magic wand and you can conjure up anything. Could it be that when you declare your wishes out loud, you're actually casting a spell for your dreams to come true? Or is it just that, in a very practical sense, the more people you speak with about your desires, the more folks there are who know what you want and might have the means to help you make them happen? Either way, stop waiting and start manifesting. But don't use that word if you don't want to. Okay. This is our final end of day bun check-in for this vlog, at least. I decided to make this one fancy. I was able to get to the point in the Night Watchman where I have a little less than 100 pages left. So I've decided that from here until whenever it takes me to finish, I'm just going to be reading. I was a little panicked there for a while that I wasn't going to be able to finish the book by the end of the readathon, but now it's looking like I can. Okay, here you have it. The last dinner of Buzzwordathon. Oh my gosh, can you see that steam? It's stir fry, I guess. I don't know. I didn't have any sesame seeds, so I subbed everything but the bagel seasoning. We'll see how this works out. We're in the final hours of the readathon, and I have finished the Night Watchman, and oh my gosh, I am so grateful to this readathon for being the push I needed to pick this up, because this was absolutely phenomenal. I think at the beginning when I was like talking through why I picked this up was I think I said that I was like always looking for historical fiction that I actually like. This is historical fiction. It takes place in the 1950s, and I think that the author does a fantastic job of including like elements of that time period, like saddle shoes and like homecoming parade. That definitely added like that element of like historical nostalgia to the book. But then alongside that, there are things in history that could just very much be taking place right now, particularly in regards to the treatment of indigenous people in America. A big plot point in here is Congress trying to terminate American Indians from their land, which still occurs today. Another big plot point in here that still occurs today is the disappearance of indigenous women and just the apathy from everyone. The author constructed this story that is rooted in history and yet still extremely timely, and it was just so well done, so beautiful. Hello, the readathon is over. If you know, you know. Is that gonna be distracting? I think it is. I'm gonna turn it off. Readathon is over. I'm actually kind of sad, but I wanted to take some time just to wrap up the week. In regards to reading, I read 3 books, which as someone who normally averages about a book a week and lately not even that, I'm considering this a huge success. One
young adult, I guess we would consider this, 1 middle grade, and 1 adult. First, I read The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. This story focuses on a teenage boy with Asperger's syndrome who discovers more about his family throughout the story. It, I guess, got me thinking more about own voices in publishing. 10-15 years ago when this was published, there were probably conversations that sounded and centered a lot around how there was this need for more diversity in books. And thankfully, I think that conversation has progressed and it's been realized that no, we don't need to focus on having more diverse characters in books, because if there's more diversity in publishing as a whole, the diversity in the characters will just come. If there's not diversity in publishing, then the expectation is that people who belong to a dominant group or a dominant culture are writing from perspectives that are not their own. And when that is not done correctly, you get something like this. And the result is an inaccurate and inauthentic and probably pretty harmful representation. Anyways, I guess I'm grateful for this book for making me think about that and reflect on that. But other than that, 2 stars. Next, I read The Night Diary by Vera Heron and Donnie, which focuses on a young girl and her family living in India during the time of the partitioning of India, and she is forced to flee her home with her family in order to seek safety. It's just never not gonna make me emotional, particularly with stories like these where, you know, in one section, the voice of the book is worrying about typical things that kids worry about. You know, will I ever have a best friend? But then, you know, in the next section of the book, they're worrying about if their brother is going to live or die in this desert. I thought that the author did a great job at capturing this time in history as well as the middle grade voice. And ultimately, I think I'm giving it around like a 3.5, 4 stars. I've already talked about it to my students. And then for the grand finale, my final book of the readathon was The Night Watchman by Louise Erdrich. This is one of those books that I feel like I was honored to read, and I am so grateful for Buzzwordathon for making me pick this one up off my TBR. I think that I may need to spend some more time with my rating for this one, but ultimately, if I have to do it right here now, I think I'm gonna say 4 stars. So brilliant, so good. I truly am so grateful for the hosts of this readathon, Kayla and Paula. I feel like it was just exactly what I needed this week while I was quarantined to my apartment. I think in Kayla's video, she said that this was the last Buzzwordathon, but that it would continue, but it wouldn't be necessarily something that she was responsible for. And I think that I 100% am still gonna participate. This is definitely my kind of readathon where I'm not confined to like particular prompts or a particular genre. So yeah, great week of reading, great week of living. I also did the most self-indulgent thing possibly I've ever done by ordering myself dark chocolate strawberries in honor of Buzzwordathon. So maybe that's how we'll close this vlog out. Hold on, let me go get. Thank you so much for watching, and a dark night chocolate covered strawberry cheers to the end of Buzzwordathon.